So in module 4, we'll continue the task. That important tool is massive parallel processing database. So it is one of the important tool in big data analytics. So for this tool, we can utilize this. The structure of this architecture of this network system is like this. So it is a master host. Two master hosts are connected in a single bus. Bus is the group of wires which is communicated with the different types of processors. So processor 1, processor 2, processor 1. So host 1, host 2, host 3. These are acts as a just like a clients of this. So in big data analytics, parallel processing is most important because it is communicated with the master host. So whatever the data which is to be collected, gathered as well as stored in the master host. Master host it is acts like a master station to communicate with the inter coprocessor as well as the client and server relationship. So it is one of the important tool, massive parallel processing database. So it is one of the analytical tool. We can analyze the big data. Data are separating, segregating, averaging, etc. Processor takes place with the help of massive parallel processing database. And what are the importance of this parallel processing? As you are already familiar about the parallel processing, it is a process with bidirectional data processing, both forward as well as the reverse direction. The action should be very quick and the efficiency is also more effective. Informations are transactions from client to server and server to client. It is one of the master host of the computer. It is a controlling unit of these all the co-processors or co-hosts. So you can connect the host 1, host 2, host 3 and rest and n number of hosts. Then collect the information, different types of information from these processors. It acts like a client, then is communicated with the master host stations. So these are all the base just like a base stations, just like a base stations of the information. So this base station we can utilize it master host which is communicated and provide the data whatever essential. So by parallel processing, it is one of the important tool for big data analytics. The major job for fast query processing. Query means any type of, it may be relational database or random database processing. The query processing, number of tasks, complex task can be executed within minimum amount of time. This is known as fast query processing. This facility is provided in massive parallel processing. And another important character for this is most faster processing in parallel processing. That's why in big data analytics, this parallel processing approach is most important. Then they are adopted in IoT related projects. And throughput or efficiency is more efficiency. The efficiency means very quicker results. Then also the efficiency and throughput is also very quickly. For this we can utilizing this massive parallel processing database is one of the important uh, analytical tool for big data analytics. So another important tool is NoSQL. NoSQL is one of the important tool for structure. SQL means structure query language database. NoSQL it is a class of database. So it is store the information. Class of the database. Database may be contain structured or semi-structured, and these structured or semi-structured data are preserved just like a data warehousing. So data warehousing, what happens? It is providing certain labels to identify the data. Data may be character or data may be images, data may be audio or video. So this NoSQL which is supports both structured as well as the semi-structured data organizations. And another important tool for this NoSQL database is one of the important tool for big data analytics, document stores. It reserves the huge amount of memory to store the information. A big reservoir is there. It is one of the major advantages in NoSQL database. So another important characteristics of NoSQL is whatever the urgent data manipulation supports high velocity of data. Data has to be gathered in a particular server or master host of the computer or information center. This NoSQL tool is most essential tool for both structured as well as the semi-structured data. Another important tool for this is Hadoop. Hadoop is an important tool for big data analytics for distributed file system. Distributed file system means if the data are gathered in a single station or single server, it is very difficult. Again, it is redistributed in different clients. Again, it will be collected. This approach is known as Hadoop structures. And another important techniques for NoSQL is whatever the map, data map or image map or videos and audios, the map reduction technique is most important. Hence, NoSQL database is one of the important tool in big data analytics.
Start.
So another important tools and techniques for big data analytics, which is known as distributed Hadoop cluster. Cluster, it is nothing but a group of information gathered in the form of node, which is known as a cluster. So distributed Hadoop tool is useful for data analyzing as well as data distributing as well as store the information in a particular memory locations. So you can look at observe this pictures. So it is uh, distribution switch. These two important switch. See, observe this Hadoop tool cluster. So these two are the distributed switch. These two are connected different racks of informations, rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, rack 4. So on up to you can connect a number of racks. So rack switch number, then these are treated as the data node. Node is nothing but a group of informations, maybe structured or unstructured, whatever it may be, that should be stored in the form of data nodes. So in the form of racks, rack 1, rack 2, rack 3, different data are stored, and these are connected, communicated with the distributed switch. Distributed switch, it is a Hadoop tool in case of big data analytics. What are the major job for this is node. Node means data for addition. You can add the information or delete the information. You can move the data from one place to the another place and coordinate among the different categories of data and store the data. Different types of data should be in the particular memory. For particular memory, this is the function of our node. Similarly, data nodes in case of Hadoop clusters, we can use for store the informations and distributed the informations as shown in the figure. It is one of the important tool for big data analytics. Another important character for this Hadoop tool is differentiate nodes based on its replications. Based on its repeatability, differentiate nodes are most useful for this type of distributed Hadoop cluster. Cluster is several types of clusters you can create it. Then edge data analysis. So many tools they are introducing for big data analytics. This is one of the most So another important tool for big data analytics is response to edge, useful for the edge. Edge is a useful data should be stored in edge level informations. So these are the important highlights in case of edge level processing for big data analytics. So first point is time sensitivity. Time sensitivity in the sense In big data analytics, clouds of data, huge amount of data should be for processing. We can utilize it. So time sensitivity is most important because the almost all data are collecting from the sensors, various types of sensors from the operational technology. So the time sensitivity most important for data collection as well as the data distributions. This is one of the important tool for time sensitivity for big data, cloud of data for processing. So another important ridge analysis for core functions. Functions we can do these big data analytics. We have to apply in several different types of mathematical tools, data transformations, inverse data transformations. So many transformations also can takes place for these data analytics. So we can apply this ridge analysis for core functions. And another important tool for this is raw input data. Raw input data which is always available from the sensor. Sensor means the sensors are arranged in operational technology. Many processing industries are there, chemical processing, pharmaceutical, sugar cane industries, various types of industries. We can collect the information at the information center with the help of sensors only it is possible. Whatever the input data are providing by the sensors, which is known as raw input data. It is one of the important a parameter in case of edge level data analysis. And fourth important tool is analytic processing unit. So we can collect the data. It is not sufficient tool, but we have to process these data by applying several techniques. Then the data is to be processed. You can observe this diagram. So multiple row input streams, a stream of data which is available from the sensor which is feeding into the input. So that is known as multiple row input streams. So many data you have to be entered through the keyboard or input devices. So this is the edge analysis processing center to process the data. So another important category for ABCD, this is the output replication output data. Replication output data. So these are the important processing tools. And another is Hadoop. Hadoop is the important tool in case of data analytics to gather the information anywhere in the memory, that is known as a Hadoop. So this is a most important basic edge level data analysis as well as the processing. So these are the parameters we should be very familiar about response of edge, useful for edge level data analytics. So another important edge level data processing. So what are the requirements are there this type of edge level data processing? So one of the important parameter is filters. Filter means you are already familiar. Filter the data, filter the unwanted data. Suppose if you want to image is not necessary, you have to be filter it. Only you can collect the data, collect the images, audio information and video information. These filters are most important. Filter means unwanted things you have to be eliminate. Whatever the data, required data only you can keep and reserve and preserve these data. So it is one of the filtration is most important in case of big data analytics. So another important character for this edge level data processing, transformation. Transformation means big data is a warehouse, data warehouse. So you have to be transfer the data and manipulate the data. Data so many processes you have to be carried out by transformations, manipulate and delete, add, so many things you have to add, manipulate. All these processes are takes place which is known as transformation, data transformations. Time is most important because the flow of informations from one point to the another point or one center to the another center. It may be operational theater to operational technologies to and information technology. The amount of data, time is most important for data flow in timings, context. And similarly at that time correlated and uncorrelated data are studied in details. Correlations means it may be any data are clubbed or mixed. This is known as a correlate, corrupt, and sometimes data is corrupted. So it should not be happened. So you have to separately distributed according to the relational database standard are structured and unstructured. You have to separate in the data warehouse. So this type of process is known as correlated and uncorrelated. Then another important parameter is matched pattern. Matched pattern means so related data streams. For example, in hospital, you can enter the patient. So many signals are available. You have to maintain the measurement of any biometrics informations. Then you maintain the silence. So many informations. If you enter one standard hospital, so many related informations are available. This is known as the match pattern. Pattern should be matches. Either it may be image should be matched with the image. So audio, so information should be matched with other. So this type of matching process takes place in case of big data analytics. Based on that only we are separating the informations, that is known as matched pattern. So it is a one simple diagram for this edge level processing. So input information, you are already familiar about input information is nothing but it is a raw data. Raw data is available from sensors. Sensor is a major resource for these data. So filter, I already told it, filters the unwanted data, and what are the useful data are there only that is processed to the transformation. Transformation may be different types of transformation. In the warehouse, data manipulation is takes place, data deletion is takes place, data addition is takes place, data multiplication is takes place. All the mathematical operations are take place, which is known as a transformation. Correlate means correlate. It is a process to correlate the different types of data based on its based on its categories. We can correlate the data. So that before correlating, we know the historical data about this information, input information, and data will be going out there in any one Hadoop tool. You can use it a tool which is known as Hadoop. Based on this tool only we can collect the information and process the information. So these are the major tasks in case of edge level processing.